My mom's text lit up the screen. "This year just your sister's family." I stared at it, the kind of message that doesn't even sting anymore because the sting has turned into numbness. For years, I was the extra plate, the afterthought, the one they could cut without guilt. This time, I didn't argue. I just typed one word back: enjoy. What they didn't know was simple. 2 months earlier, the papers had cleared. A $5 million mountain ranch sat in my name, quiet and hidden, surrounded by acres of pine and snow-capped silence. While they were busy carving me out of traditions, I was building my own. The week of Thanksgiving, I sent out invites. Not to them. To cousins who never got a seat at my mother's table. To old friends who spent too many holidays eating takeout alone. To co-workers who thought Turkey Day was just another shift. One by one, they showed up at my ranch with laughter in their eyes and casseroles in their hands. The house glowed that night, fireplaces roaring, children running through wide halls, the dining table bending under the weight of food. No tension. No favoritism. Just warmth. For once, I wasn't the outsider. I was the host. When the photos hit Instagram, tagged and shared, I knew the silence wouldn't last. My phone lit up in waves, my mom, my sister, even relatives who'd ignored me for years. The same family that left me out couldn't handle being left out themselves. The calls wouldn't stop. And for the first time in my life, I let them ring. By Friday morning, the calls had piled into voicemails, some angry, some pitiful, some pretending it was all a misunderstanding. My sister's voice cut the deepest. "You didn't have to go behind us like that," she snapped. "Mom just wanted something small this year." Small. That's what they always called it when I wasn't included. Small dinner. Small gathering. Small enough that my seat never mattered. But the photos proved otherwise. My small replacement had been exposed in front of everyone. At the ranch, the laughter hadn't faded yet. Guests were still cleaning up, packing leftovers, talking about how it was the best Thanksgiving they'd had in years. One coworker hugged me at the door. "You built something real here," she whispered. "Don't ever let anyone take it from you." Her words sank deeper than my sister's barbs. Because she was right, for the first time, the holiday wasn't about fitting into someone else's script. It was about rewriting it. The ranch itself became part of the revenge without me even trying. Every detail had been chosen with care: the polished oak floors, the sprawling kitchen, the windows that framed mountains like paintings. Guests snapped pictures everywhere. Each post carried the same unspoken message: I wasn't the forgotten one anymore. By Saturday, even my mom cracked. She left a voicemail softer than usual. "We didn't mean to hurt you. Call me back, sweetheart." But I didn't. Instead, I walked the ranch trails at dusk, snow dusting the ground, silence wrapping me in something better than apology. For once, I wasn't chasing their approval. I was choosing my own peace. And deep down, I knew this was only the beginning. By Sunday, the group chat that I'd been silently removed from months ago lit up again. Suddenly, I was added back in, messages flooding like nothing had happened. "Next year, we should all celebrate together at your ranch. Wouldn't it be perfect if we hosted Christmas there?" My sister even threw in a smiling emoji, as if her sharp words from earlier had vanished into thin air. I didn't respond. I just scrolled, rereading the sudden flood of affection. The same family who had written me off days ago now wanted in, not because of me, but because of what I owned. At the diner that evening, my coworker Sam slid a coffee in front of me. "You look like someone who just won," he said. I smiled but didn't answer. Winning didn't feel like rubbing it in. Winning felt like silence, like letting them stew in the very exclusion they built for me. That night, I posted one last picture. Not of the ranch, not of the food. Just me, sitting on the porch steps, wrapped in a blanket, snow falling soft behind me. The caption was short, home. It took minutes for the comments to roll in. Cousins, friends, even distant relatives I barely knew, all writing about how peaceful it looked, how they wished they'd been there. I knew my family saw it too. And I knew what it meant to them. The one they left behind had found something bigger, something they couldn't touch. When I finally set my phone down, I didn't feel anger anymore. What I felt was colder, sharper, and far more satisfying. They wanted in. And I finally understood, the only power I needed was the choice to keep them out. By Monday morning, my mom drove 3 hours to my apartment. She didn't even call first, just showed up, standing in the hallway with a pie in her hands like this was some ordinary holiday visit. "Sweetheart," she said, voice too soft, "you hurt us. You know that, don't you?" I leaned on the doorframe. "Hurt you? Or embarrassed you?" Her face tightened. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. The truth was written all over her eyes. It wasn't about missing me. It was about everyone else finally seeing how they'd treated me. She placed the pie on my counter like a peace offering, but I didn't touch it. She started talking fast, about how family should stay together, how Thanksgiving is about unity, how maybe next year we could do it the right way. The right way. Their way. The way where I stayed quiet, grateful for scraps. I told her calmly, I already had my Thanksgiving. And it was perfect. Her eyes darted, searching for cracks in my voice, waiting for me to break. But I didn't. For once, I held the silence. She left soon after, pie untouched, heels clicking down the hallway. I watched her go, realizing something I'd never dared admit before. I didn't need their seat at the table. I had built my own. That night, as the first snowstorm of the season swept across the mountains, I drove back to the ranch. The house was empty now, but walking through it, I could still hear laughter echoing off the walls. The kind of laughter they could never take from me. And I wasn't done yet. By the end of the week, the story had spread farther than I ever intended. Cousins who never visited suddenly sent long texts about how proud they were of me. Old neighbors reached out, saying they'd seen the photos online and couldn't believe how much life had changed. But the loudest voices came from my sister. She called 3 times in one evening. The first voicemail was sharp. "You're selfish. You turned family into a show." The second was softer, almost rehearsed. "We should all make new traditions. Don't shut us out. Think of Mom." By the third, her tone cracked. "You know she cried. You know she feels humiliated." I listened to each one while sitting on the ranch porch, the mountains stretching out in silence. For the first time, their words felt smaller than the space I stood in. At the diner the next day, Sam noticed the change in me. "You're calmer," he said. "Like you stopped chasing something." He was right. I wasn't chasing their approval anymore. I was watching them chase mine. Still, their persistence didn't stop. My aunt messaged asking for a Christmas invite. My sister sent a group photo of her kids, writing, they'd love to see the ranch too. I didn't answer. Not out of spite, but because I finally realized silence was louder than any argument. So instead, I poured my energy into the land itself. I hired local workers to help restore the barns, cleared trails that had been abandoned, and even set up plans to host charity dinners for families who had nowhere to go during the holidays. The ranch wasn't just mine anymore. It was turning into something bigger, something meaningful. And that's when the fear set in for them. They realized the place they excluded me from had become the place they couldn't buy their way into. For the first time, I felt the balance shift. And it was only getting stronger. Christmas came faster than I expected, and with it came another round of invitations I never agreed to. My mom sent a group text this time. "Let's all meet at your ranch. It's perfect for the holidays. The message wasn't a request. It was written like a plan already made, as if I had no say. I didn't reply. Hours later, my sister called. When I ignored it, she texted. "You can't keep punishing us forever. That ranch is family property, and family should share." I laughed out loud at the word, share. They never shared anything with me, not a seat at the table, not a holiday, not even a voice in the room. Now suddenly, the word had meaning when it suited them. Instead of answering, I posted a photo of the ranch tree lit with simple white lights, the snow falling heavy outside. The caption read, "Quiet holidays. Just how I like them." The fallout was instant. My mom called within minutes, voice sharp this time. "Do you know how selfish you look? People are asking why we weren't there. Do you want everyone to think we've abandoned you?" Her words were almost funny. For years, they were comfortable with me being invisible. Now that the world could see it, suddenly it was a problem. I let her finish. Then I said quietly, "You already abandoned me. The difference now is, everyone else can see it too." The silence on the line told me everything. She hung up without another word. That night, I sat by the fireplace, sipping hot chocolate, watching the snow stack against the windows. The ranch felt bigger in the quiet, not empty but alive with freedom. They wanted access. They wanted ownership. But the truth was simple, it was mine. And the more they demanded, the less I was willing to give. The balance of power had shifted. And they couldn't stand it. By New Year's, their desperation had turned into strategy. My sister showed up at the diner during my shift, sliding into a booth like she owned the place. She ordered coffee she didn't want, just to get me there. "You're making a mistake," she said flatly. "You can't freeze us out forever. People talk. They think you're ungrateful." I placed the mug down and leaned close enough for her to see the steadiness in my face. Ungrateful for what? For being excluded every year. For being treated like a guest in my own family. Her jaw tightened. She stirred the coffee but didn't drink it. "That ranch, it was supposed to stay in the family." "It did," I said. "I'm family." Her eyes darted away. She wasn't here to reconnect. She was here to negotiate control. Later that week, a letter came in the mail from my mom, handwritten, something she hadn't done in years. It was thick with folded pages, filled with apologies dressed as explanations. She wrote about tradition, about unity, about how money and land should never come between blood. But buried in her words was the truth. What she really feared was losing face. Everyone now knew her perfect holiday table wasn't perfect at all. Everyone saw that she could be cut out just as quickly as she'd cut me. I folded the letter back up and slid it into a drawer. I didn't respond. Some things didn't deserve answers. Instead, I hosted a small New Year's dinner at the ranch with friends and neighbors. We toasted to new beginnings, to chosen families, to a future that didn't include begging for a seat at the wrong table. As fireworks cracked in the distance, I realized something profound: revenge didn't always roar. Sometimes it was as quiet as living well, as steady as showing the world you never needed the people who tried to break you. And that quiet was louder than anything my family could ever say. January brought the last attempt. My mom called once more, her voice tired, stripped of all sharpness. "Sweetheart," she said, "we just want to be part of your life again. The ranch is too much for one person. Let us in." I closed my eyes, listening not to her words but to the years behind them, the Thanksgivings where my chair was missing, the Christmas mornings where my gifts never came, the countless times I was treated like a burden instead of a daughter. They weren't asking to be part of my life. They were asking to be part of my success. That weekend, I hosted my first charity dinner at the ranch. The long dining table stretched across the great room, filled with families from town who couldn't afford a holiday meal. Kids ran through the halls, their laughter echoing just as it had on Thanksgiving. The air was warm with gratitude, not expectation. A local paper covered the event. Photos went online again, this time not of wealth, but of generosity. People praised the night, praised the ranch, praised the spirit of opening doors for those who truly needed it. And my family saw it all. They couldn't spin it, couldn't claim it, couldn't take it. For once, the narrative wasn't theirs to control. It was mine. When the article landed on my mom's doorstep, I didn't need to call. I knew she would read it and feel the weight of everything she'd given up, not just a holiday, not just a house, but me. Standing on the porch that night, snow crunching under my boots, I looked out at the mountains, steady and silent. I thought of the little girl I used to be, the one who waited by the window for an invitation that never came. She finally had her answer. And I finally had my peace.